All right.
There's
What's your point? What's your point? Like, Bally's is not in the business of giving beach volleyball players money.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Within the Game podcast. My name is Aaron Wexler, and today I'm joined by the one and only Kent Steffes. Kent, thank you so much for being here.
Very happy to be here. Always talking volley, my favorite thing to do.
Yes. So Within the Game podcast is all about how to stay inspired. And I created this podcast back in the pandemic, and I was just trying to figure out how all these champions around me, whether it's in sport or business or entrepreneurship, just stay inspired. And so that's the idea of the show. And so thank you to the listener or the viewer on YouTube. If you feel value from this show, please like, subscribe, and comment, engage. I appreciate you. So to Kent Steffes, man, I know we've been doing this, or we've been talking about doing this for a while, and here we are, and I'm just so thrilled to have you. So Kent, you're an Olympic gold medalist in beach volleyball, winning the 96 games with Karch Kiraly in Atlanta. You rank fourth all time in the beach volleyball tournaments with 110 tournament victories. You have the highest winning percentage in the history of the sport. You're the youngest number one player in the history of the AVP, and you have a business MBA from Stanford, and you also now run a hedge fund. You're also a published author, just publishing the awesome book called Kings of Summer with your co-author, Travis Mayweather. Again, there it is right there, and there it is right there too. Again, Kent Steffes, man, really appreciate you being here, man.
I am happy to be here. Thank you very much. It's a very nice introduction.
Yes.
So I had a very, 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 very fun athletic career.
Man, so let's just jump right into this question that I ask all my guests first. What does inspired living mean to you?
I think inspired, I find inspiration in sort of the quietness of life. Whenever I'm not in balance, I'm running around and doing too many things. So I need to get away, just me personally, and just get away from all the noise, get away from all the people, get away from doing everything, and just sort of sit quietly by myself. And that's when the inspiration comes. I mean, you talked about it here. I wouldn't be here sitting with you talking with a book, published author, if there wasn't COVID and there wasn't nothing to do. Right. So I got really inspired during COVID to write a bunch of stuff on volleyball, on winning, on the history of the sport, on what I did in the sport. And so, yeah, whenever I need to get inspired, I just go sit by myself quietly and just let like that natural, just your body will bubble it up for you, what it wants you to do, or what's gonna take me in the next direction specifically.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And, how do you stay inspired, right? Because it's one thing to get inspired. It's kind of like get ready or staying ready. How do you stay inspired?
You know what? I don't think, God, how would I put that? You don't, okay? Like you go up and down. That's human nature. So, I mean, how do you stay? I think what's more important is if you feel yourself getting uninspired, how to get back inspired, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So like if you're playing volleyball and you lose focus, you're going to lose focus. I lose focus. Everyone loses focus. And I'm the winningest player ever. I get back in focus. So if you're ever feeling uninspired, how do you get back inspired? So that's what I would probably focus on. Not necessarily, ride the wave, right? If you're feeling inspired, you ride that wave. And if you're not feeling inspired, do what I do. Go in a room by yourself and do some meditation and just, hey, what do I need to do now? Where do I got to bubble again? I think we all get too crazy and we all get too busy and we're driving in traffic, and especially if you're in a city and you got kids and family and jobs and this and that, it can get a little overwhelming, right? So it's like you're bubbling oil. And so if you just calm yourself down, get back, kind of get rid of all the clutter around you, the inspiration will rise up in you again. We have an unlimited well, I believe. You just got to go tap it, right? That's what all the yogis say, all the Zen masters say. You just plug into life, it'll come to you. I mean, you're blocking it. If you're not feeling inspired, you are blocking it, right?
Man,
so I didn't need to learn any inspiration when I play. I love playing beach volleyball. I love playing volleyball. I love going down, my sandwich, my towel, my ball. When I was a kid, when I was a professional, I love winning. I love winning money. I love traveling. I love playing volleyball. Loved playing volleyball. Loved beating St. John and Randy. All right. Loved it. Loved it every time. Hitting that cross court hit. The line shot, still think about it now. Makes me happy now. All right,
Man.
so
So
that's it for me.
that's awesome, man. I just want to respond to that. I really resonate with that, which is like getting quiet. I spend actually a lot of time like alone and just being one with my breath. And I'm a spiritual person, so like that alone time is actually really, really valuable, and it makes you actually show up in the world, in my opinion, as a better version of yourself. And that's kind of one of the main reasons why I started the podcast, and why I'm a published author too now, is because I want to share that message, which is like, that's what I think is the main point of being inspired, whether it's through sport, business, winning. And we're going to talk about winning. Whatever that highest excitement is, that highest passion, to me, that's the goal, is to try to get to that place. And I love how you said, like, being fluid with that, let that flow, right?
Mhm.
Allowing is a big thing for athletes, actually, and entrepreneurs, because we go, right? We know how to go hard. We know how to drive, go for our goals. But I think in life too, we have to allow. Can you speak to that for a minute before we jump into all these other topics?
Allow, you mean as in terms of like being kind to yourself?
Allow, well, like,
Look,
I mean, just allow to go with the flow, being able to go with the flow.
yeah, look, it's perfectly natural, perfectly human, perfectly normal to move in and out of states, in and out of feelings, in and out of inspiration. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were to be inspired 100% of the time at the top, what would that be? It wouldn't even be inspiring anymore, right? You gotta, if you don't feel pain, you're never going to feel joy. If you're not down, you're never going to feel up. If you're not sad, you're never going to be happy.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Perfectly natural, perfectly, like someone who's sad. Well, if you have a really good reason to be sad, you should be sad. Don't try to fight it. Never try to fight your own self.
Love
Okay.
that.
I think a lot of times everyone fights themselves. Oh, I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be depressed. Well, I mean, clearly if you're way out there, but if you're feeling down a couple of days, just say, yeah, I'm feeling down. Just go back deeper down and then you'll come back up. That's how I always do it. That's
I
what I
love
think
that.
you should do.
I
Right.
think that's so knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And to anyone listening to this, you guys got to follow Kent on Facebook, because lately, man, you've been sharing a lot of your mind and your mindset on your Facebook posts, and that's why I've been reaching out, because I'm like, oh man, it's inspiring me to, like, read some of your thought processes about not just the game of volleyball, but life, like you're talking about right now. It's really cool.
No, thank you. Yeah, no, as I said, during the pandemic, with nothing to do,
Yeah.
I got quiet. And I said, I think it was somebody wrote me a question on Facebook. Oh, you know what it was? This is where it comes from. It's the tiniest thing. You have to always be open to the world, right? I was out in Malibu at that ranch that was opening up. So they're opening up a new hotel. And
Okay.
so I get invited, and my partner Tracy, who's really big in Los Angeles, she got invited, and they say, hey, can you put a face or like a social media post for us? Like, thank us for the free hotel. It was beautiful in Malibu. They have a beach club there too. And they say, can you put a little social media post pumping our hotel? And I said, sure. And I thought, well, what if somebody asked me a question on Facebook, I'll throw a little content on this. Hey, I'm sitting at the resort hotel in Malibu thinking about beach volleyball. And then it just flowed from there. All right. I found myself every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So I work during the week, market hours. And on Saturday, Sunday, I'd sit down on my computer and start typing, and I'd look up and it would be the afternoon. Okay.
Yeah.
That's how inspired I was. That's how fired up I was. The time was gone.
Yeah.
Right. And not every weekend. Sometimes the muse doesn't hit you, but when it does, I just started pumping stuff out. Just what I thought, the stories I liked, everything I liked, everything just, and then people would call or people would ask me certain questions or to talk about certain things. And again, it wasn't a project that I thought about from day one. It's sort of just, again, you go to that quiet place, just starts flowing and bubbling, and next you know, you got a book and a Facebook page, and I'm on doing a video breaking down the Norwegians and the Qataris, which I never thought I'd do.
yeah, that was a cool. We'll talk about that in a minute too. But yeah, before I have so much to talk to you about. But I got to commend you on this writing process and this book project that you did with Travis Mayweather. And this book, and I told you before that I'm kind of halfway through, but I'm really enjoying the imagery that you share in there, and I'm enjoying the juice. You got juice in there, and as a writer, I did the same thing, like prior to the pandemic. I was like, I got so much going on up here, let me get it down. And just briefly, and we'll get more into this in the later part of the podcast, but briefly talk about the writing process of this book.
So the way I write, and I'm not a professional writer,
right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
the writing's the easy part. It's the rewriting and the revising that's the hard part. So I tend to just sit at a computer and just start typing away in any direction I can.
Yeah.
It does it total free flowing.
Yeah.
I just try to have inspiration and thoughts come in, and I don't even write in sentences or paragraphs. I look things up on the internet. I grab quotes. All right. First of all, if you want to see, you go to my Facebook page, you'll see postings. I can show them to you on my computer. There's probably 10 pages of other stuff I didn't use. Okay. So I've written, thousands of pages on stuff, and I've only published, 200 and something pages,
right? Maybe
another 100 on Facebook. So there's a lot on the cutting room floor, right? Because and then I try to think about themes, and what I like to do is I want the reader to feel the emotions that I'm feeling or was feeling. Okay. To me, that's what I'm focusing. I want the language to be really tight sentences, but I want you to feel what it was like to be there, not necessarily like the history per se of what happened, but like we were getting smoked in the world. And I had a dream when I was 8 years old. When I was 8 years old, I said, I'm going to be an Olympic gold medalist, and I'm getting smoked. I'm losing, and I'm not having fun. And if I would have lost, I would have been I would have hurt, felt bad. I mean, that's how I was feeling. I cared. I really cared about winning that gold medal, that little thing around your neck. Okay. Yeah. So I kind of want to give, that's what I want to give you. Like and everyone was mean to each other, and they were calling each other names, and best friends became enemies. And just sit back and think about being in a pressure cooker like the Olympics with a billion people watching on TV, tens of thousands, your family's there, and it's tight. You're doing things you've never done before, and have to come up with things that never happened. You didn't practice for this. You didn't practice against Carl Hank. I don't think I've played against him ever. So if you don't play against the guy, you don't have their tells, you don't know how they play, they can sneak up on you, and you know it. Right.
It's a really cool narrative, especially of that quarterfinal match of the Olympics. But it's really cool how you create the narrative for the reader, and it's relatable to anyone who wants to go for something, whether it's sport or anything else. That's what I am taking from it as I'm reading it. To allow yourself to go for something in life, right? Mm-hmm. To go for it. Like, that's what I get from you. It's like, man, this guy went for it, and you share all the details and all that stuff, but the main theme I got is allow yourself to go for it.
It's hard. Yes, you got to go for it because it's hard. All right. Sports are specifically designed to test you. All right. They're specifically designed to induce fear, combat sports. They're specifically designed to create anxiety. All right. Pressure. Exhaustion, pain. All right. And women have body image issues all the time. Our female athletes, like, that's how they're designed. And it could be tough for some people, but you say, forget it. I'm going for it. I'm just going to go for it. I don't care if I'm anxious or fearful or hurt or tired, and then you begin to get into how the mind works, and you realize it's all an illusion. All right. You're fooling yourself if you think you're tired. And we know about this now. We didn't know about it when I played, but now there's a lot more data and information coming out of universities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's all an illusion. Your fear is an illusion. Your pain is an illusion. Your anxiety is an illusion. Your exhaustion's an illusion. It's just give it up. You know,
Yeah.
but the
Yeah. Yeah.
yogis talk about it, the Zen masters talk about it, the Christian mystics talk about it. The moment you surrender and just say, I'm gonna go for it, win. All right.
I
The goal
love
is to win, period. That's what I'm going for. And I'm not gonna do it every time, but I'm still gonna fight my
yeah.
ass off to go do it. All right. No matter
Yeah.
what, just go for it. Just you want to be an Olympian right now, if you're out there listening to me, go for it. I don't care if you're 80. Go for it. My dad did like master's track, whatever. Like, go for it. Go for it. You won't regret it. You'll have a great time. Go for it. Kids too. Become a gold medalist like me. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I got
No,
excited.
I love that.
I got
No,
excited.
that's what I mean, I love that. And I want this to be relatable to anyone who wants to go for anything. Go for it, you know? And so let's talk about winning. I know you like this is a good topic for you here because you know how to do it.
I'm a
Yeah,
master.
yeah.
I'm an expert at winner.
Well,
PhD.
well, okay, so let's talk about that because everyone loves winning, you know?
Well, I don't know if I agree with you,
Well,
Mr. X. That's why I said what I said, and I've gotten pushback. Go ahead.
okay, well, so I would argue that everyone loves the feeling of winning, but not everyone loves the process of winning. So let's talk about winning mindset. How do you define winning mindset? And let's talk about winning mindset before champion mindset, because I feel like that's coming next. But winning mindset, how can it be learned, taught, and applied?
Well, first of all, it's a choice. Okay. You either choose to want to win or you do not. You either say, my goal is to win, period, or you do not. And you'll find most people, lots of people do not want that as their goal. All right. That's scary for most people. It doesn't happen to you. The winningest player in the history of beach volleyball, I have won less than half. All right. So all the other great champions are even worse than that. Right. So the first thing you say is, my goal is to win, period. All right. If you don't win, that means you feel bad. All right. You don't like to lose. All right. You want to win. So I was in 1991 World Championships, Rio de Janeiro, lost, cried my eyes out. I cried my eyes out because I cared. It was important to me. All right. That's what I wanted to do. And from there, everything flows. All right. What do you got to do to win? All right. How do you look at a game? How do you look at yourself? How do you look at training? And from there, everything begins to flow. Like I talk about a chain. All right. You start, this is what you do. Here it is. Here's winning. Now, how do I get there? Right. How do I get there? It's just, if you don't know why you're not winning, why don't you know why you're not winning? And if you know why you're not winning, are you working on it? Right. It's process. Winning is process too. It's a choice. And then it's a process, and it's hard. It's hard. All right. It's psychologically hard. It's mentally hard. And that's what you realize when you overcome it. All right. And I get pushback all the time. Don't tell me everyone wants to win. The Cleveland Browns do not want to win. I guarantee you. The Minnesota Timberwolves do not. The owners don't want to win. The management doesn't want to win. Nobody on those teams want to win. I can go down the line. All right. There's probably 5 NBA teams that even have a chance to win the NBA. It ain't happening for the rest of the league, period. They don't care. All right. They don't care. When Belichick, everyone remembers Belichick. Everyone thinks he's the greatest coach of all time since Lombardi. They forget he was the failed coach of Cleveland. Right? He was the failed coach of Cleveland because Kozar wouldn't run the offense. He refused to run the offense, the quarterback. And when Belichick went to the owner and said, we're getting rid of Kozar because he won't run the offense, the owner says, you're not getting rid of anybody. We're getting rid of you. All right. That's not anyway. Go on forever about winning. So I didn't just again, I don't do this for a living, right? I run a hedge fund. Right. I'm not a public speaker. I don't give winning mindset talks. Okay. I'm thinking about maybe after this was so fun, this book, Kings of Summer, I'm thinking about writing a book on winning, but I don't have time. I have a job and a family. But again, from that COVID experience when I couldn't do anything, we're in LA here, right? It was bad down here. We got a big time lockdown, especially me in West LA. So I just started thinking about, all right, writing, because again, people give me pushback. Kent, that's not right. Winning, it should be about other things. And that's fine. But this is almost a work in process. You're getting me about maybe a halfway through to the final product of what Kent Steffes would say on winning. And it's not just me and my experience that informs a lot of it. I've read about a lot of different guys, a lot of number one players, right? A lot of number one coaches, Belichick, Jackson, Torre, you know, even George Karl wasn't a good coach. He was not a good coach at all. He talks about why he wasn't a good coach and why he didn't win. The players, Jeter, you know, Jordan, you know, Kerr, you know, Steve Kerr, you know, Curry, you know, baseball players like David Wells and things like that. So it's not just me. It's been a study. It's been a fascination. And let me tell you this, all right? Ready, Aaron? Here it is for you and your listeners. There's winners and there's those that do not win. And there's a difference between those that win and those that don't win. And it's a difference which is discoverable and knowable. All right. There is a difference between the Jeters and the guys who are not Jeter. There's a difference between the Belichicks and the coaches that aren't Belichick. All right. There's a difference. They do things differently. They think differently. Yeah. So all you got to do is tap into that. All right. There it is. Simple.
I love that.
It's simple. That. Okay.
Got it.
All right. Let me give you an example. Michael Jordan
Kobe's name in there.
Yeah. Kobe's shooting the last second shot. You know it. I know it. The whole building knows it. Nobody can stop him. Right. Why can't you stop him? You can't stop him because he is doing something different. He's doing something different than you. All right. The other team. Same with Jordan. It's all the same thing, you know?
Okay. Yeah. So here's the question then. So I agree with you on all that. Mm-hmm. But I've heard you talk about this before, that winning is a skill that you can actually learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yes, those guys, all those people you mentioned are different. But what about the everyday person? How can we practice winning?
Play a game with somebody that you can win. All right. How do you get a muscle stronger? You go to the gym and you lift it. You don't go lift 500 pounds right off the bat. You got to lift 10 pounds and then 15 pounds. And
what about outside of sport? And for an example, like this is going to be maybe a funny example, but like when you start your day, you know, do you start your day with a winning mindset? You know, like I wake up today and I'm a winner. I know it sounds kind of funny, but like, you know, maybe a practice like that. Does that resonate?
Well, there's another thing you need to learn when it comes to the winning mindset and winning, because it gets to be intense and you have to become a certain type of person that you might not like, right? That's another problem. What it takes to win isn't who are the nice guys sometimes. Sometimes you got to be mean. You got to be tough. You got to be, you know, a jerk, or you got to be selfish. All right. I'm not telling you that's why people don't always want to win. So what you need to learn is something called compartmentalization. All right. So it's appropriate when you're playing a sport, but it's not appropriate in other areas of life. So I don't know how you define a winning mindset with a family. All right. I mean, there's a book. God, who's that book? Pete Carroll. All right. Win Forever. He wrote a book. Says, win at everything. Win your relationship, win a job, win this. And that's fine. I would choose a compartmentalization technique, because what it takes to win isn't always what it takes to be the best human being. All right. Because, well, you have to detach a part of your brain, basically. So it's all a lot of brain chemistry, but the part of your brain which keeps you from, you know, doing stuff that's antisocial or that ruins relationships, you got to get rid of. Right. You got to get rid of the part that makes you a nice person. You got to stick it apart, which is, I want to kick that guy's ass. All right. That's not appropriate at church, at the barbecue. So you have to, you know, compartmentalize. You have to, what I call emotionally swap, emotionally ramp. So you have to do that. But sure, you could look at like, all right, so I'm in the hedge fund business.
Hedge fund, yeah, money. Let's talk about money.
Defined, like you got to beat the market average.
Right.
And there's a way to do that. Again, there's Warren Buffett beats the market averages, and he thinks differently than everybody else. He does things differently. All right. You can tap into that if you want to. So I guess it'd be case dependent on what you're doing and what's going on. Right. I mean, every sort of line of work has got people. Look, if they're all right, here we go. It's simple. It doesn't matter if it's hedge funds, volleyball, or church barbecue. Right. If there's people that are doing it better and people that aren't doing it better, you could figure out why the people that are doing it better are doing it better. All right. Yeah. So if you run a stationery store and it's not that good, and the one across the city has got a better stationery store, however you want to define it, they're doing something that you're not. That's for sure.
I love it. And let's carry that to the next thing, which is champion mindset, which I think is a little bit different, right? I mean, you can win all the games and then you get to the final and not win.
Oh, right? Chokorama, the big chokorama. That's right.
But how do you define champion mindset?
Like I said, this is a work in process. Tell me a little bit how you would distinguish a winning mindset from a champion mindset. You're talking about like bringing it in the championship, right? The difference between winning all the games up to the championship. So, God, you got to want to be there. Okay. The reason why people don't want to be there is they feel a little scared. They're fearful. Phil Jackson talks about it all the time. He said, my athletes were afraid, right? That's Jordan, that's Pippen, that's Shaquille, that's Kobe. If he's saying that they're afraid, they don't necessarily, not everyone wants to take the last second shot. No one ever wants the ball. So champion mindset is the person who's, I want the ball.
Right.
I want to be in the person in the championship moment that has the impact on the game. You, all right, me. I wanted them to serve me. One of the biggest frustrations in the quarterfinal match of the 1996 Olympics was they were serving Karch and we were losing. I want them to serve me. I want the ball in game point. I want it in my hands because I'm going to win. All right. Or at least I don't care. I want it. I want to be the guy. Like if I was on a basketball team, I remember that story where Jackson wouldn't let Pippen take the last second shot and they gave it to Kukoc. Like that was people make fun of Pippen for that. That's wrong. I mean, he was pissed. Like if that was me, I would have punched Jackson. I said, I'm taking the last second shot for sure. Anyway, right? Like, so that's, I think, the difference. You got to want to be there. People ask me like, oh, do you ever get pressure when the Olympics or the World Championships? I'm like, God, no, that's where I wanted to be. That's where I dreamed about being. I wanted to be a professional athlete. Look, I was a kid. I was dreaming about taking the last second shot, hitting the home run in the bottom of the ninth in the World Series, winning a gold medal, Steffes, he's coming from behind, but oh my God. And not only just to win. I didn't want to just win the world championship. I wanted to win in a tight one and close and like the one they're going to be talking about forever, which they are. Right? It's 25 years. They're still talking about it. So everything that I wanted to happen, happened. And if you don't want to be there, you don't want to play, like literally like a dog looking at a bone. I even now I'm thinking about it. Look at it, freaking excited thinking I could get back there because that's where I wanted to be. Right? Not everybody wants that. So that's it. That's competitive greatness, right? That's the champion's mind. Me, it's a problem with those teammates. You got to deal with that guy over there on the left.
No, it's really interesting. And, the first word that comes to mind when I hear you talk like this is confidence. I mean, you obviously exude it and you've always exuded it. You've always had that confidence. Can you speak to confidence when it comes to champion mindset, to winning, and also speak to if someone's struggling with confidence, how to increase their confidence?
Well, confidence, God, I don't like that word so much because it's got so much negative connotation to it. Again, like we're learning a lot more about the structure of the brain, how it works and how the dopamine levels work and the 5 brain chemicals that, it's less confident. The word is wrong. It's more like a surrendering, right? It's a detachment.
I like it.
So
I like
in
where you're
other
going
words,
with that.
like here's a bad way of saying it. You don't give a crap. All right. That comes across to people as confidence. And when you ramp that up, everyone says, oh, he's cocky. Oh, he's cocky. Right.
Right.
Give double fingers to you. Like I'm playing a game and I'm trying to win. Like stop being judgy. Like everyone's judgmental. Yeah, so if you want to get more confident, just start surrendering, start, detaching. You just detach and you just say, I don't give a crap anymore. I'm going. Right. So that you start walking around, you got the shoulders back, and everyone's like, look at that guy. He's real confident.
That's deep.
I'm just going to, he's going to walk. You ready? You ready? If you're going to walk across the freeway, you look confident. All right. Because you don't care you get hit.
That's really deep, though. I mean, you know what? Okay. Here's 2 things that come to mind about that. Number 1, self-belief. I think that's maybe a better way to say it instead of confidence. Like I believe in myself. I believe in my ability, not just to win, but I believe that I belong, right? Especially for kids. I work with kids and I belong here. This is where I'm at. I'm here right now. Like that self-belief, I think is really important, but also FOPO, which is the fear of other people's opinions, which a lot of people struggle with, right? Like, especially now in the social media era, right? We're always like, worried about, are we being liked? you know?
Fear of social exclusion, FOSE, FOSE, fear of social exclusion.
Right.
That's
right.
Human beings are social animals, and sports test that.
But as a winner, as a champion, you know, you don't have time for that stuff, right? Or maybe it comes in, but you just
you've chosen, you made a choice. It's always a choice. It's all we always talk. We talked about this before. It's a choice.
Yeah.
You choose to win. All right. Do you care what people think about you? Or do you care about winning?
Right.
Do you care about being people's opinions, social exclusion, or do you care about winning?
Right.
All right. I'm going to tell you this. When you start acting in certain ways, all right, so here we go. Human beings are social. The moment one guy picks his head up, everyone else wants to smash that thing down. That's how it works.
Man.
In human beings. All our stories are like that. Every story is the hero who goes off, right, to save everybody else. You know, Jesus Christ, you know, died for our sins. The one guy, all right, went out. There's always these themes throughout time. And I'm not being like, you don't even have to be Christian to understand the themes in humanity, that somebody's got to leave the fire and go save us all. That one guy, right? What happens to the hero? Then he has this Greek tragedy. He kills his mom and, you know, marries his dad, whatever the story is. So yeah, I get it. I get it. You know, everyone's who does that guy think he is? He thinks he's better than all of us. I get that now, for God's sakes.
Right.
You want a list of everything that they've said about me? You want the whole list or just the top 5?
No,
right? We can go through it all. Oh, he does this, he does that. Good. Hey, you know what? I got my friends, I got my family.
Right.
See, there's the attitude. You know what? Yeah. Look, you win, you go out and you got on your shirt had some problems in life, okay?
Yeah.
Not everybody like that guy.
Right.
He's had some pretty nasty things said about him, but guess what? He wins. He's a champion. Oh, what do they say about him? Oh, he's they call him a narcissist, for God's sakes.
Right.
Well, you got to be kind of a little bit like that to be a professional athlete. So screw you a little bit, or just say that as a kid, or not. It could be, again, it's tough. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy to sort of detach. Again, you got to detach that part of your humanity, compartmentalize it, put it in a closet, go play your game or do your activity, and then come back and grab that, bring that humanity back to you. That's what I mean by compartmentalization.
Yeah.
And you could do it poorly, you could do it well. You know, I mean, yeah. Look, I'll give you another. Ronaldo. Okay, I read him in the news today. Right? Somebody wants to take a selfie with him. Like, how dare? I go, well, the guy's walking off the court, walking off the field of the game. You're running up to him and bothering him. All right, leave him alone. Like, of course, the news is like, what a jerk Ronaldo is. When I read them, like, you leave him alone. Like, it was the lady who drove the ambulance, right? So she's got a special spot in the arena. Just wanted to bug him. Doesn't realize that there's 8 million people on the planet that would want to come up to him right now and have selfies all day, every day. Like, leave the guy alone. All right.
No, this is really interesting, Kent, because where my mind went when you mentioned Ronaldo is, did you watch the U.S. Open of tennis, Alcaraz? Did you watch any of that?
I watched the semis. I didn't watch
that semi was great. That was an amazing match. But this guy, Alcaraz, who just won the U.S. Open as a 19-year-old, it exudes confidence or self-belief, or you know, but it's
doesn't care, or just doesn't care.
No,
again,
has that
again? You're interpreting what's going on in an athlete's mind, and you're not getting it's not true, right? It's not about confidence. It's we now know it's something else.
No, I get that part.
But yeah, I got it. We could use that word. Just that's fine.
It appears to be common. We could just
as long as we understand that that's not what's happening. It's a difference. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. No, what I was saying is that, but then after he won, he just comes off as like the most humble guy ever. Like he's like radiating humility, this gratitude, this appreciation, and like people love that too, right? They feel like so drawn to that. I love that. Can you speak to that? Can you speak to like this gratitude? You know, because I'm really working on being just grateful for everything in my life, but I want this champion mindset too. I think there's a balance there. Can you speak to that?
Again, I'm not sure it's a balance so much as a compartment. You're going to move in and out of a state. Okay. Those athletes, they teach you to go kick a guy's out, right? You're a UFC fighter. I want to bash your face in.
Yeah, but then they hug each other right after, right?
Of course, right? Because it's more controlled. But you want to beat some people up, and you want to hurt them. You want to hurt them badly. Then all of a sudden you hug, and you try to you have to state change into normalness. Let's call it. You call it humility. That's fine. Some athletes don't do it as well as others. Some athletes aren't as good at the state change as others. That's the only thing I see. You know what? An athlete does not owe anybody anything but to play his game.
Right.
Okay. The only obligation Ronaldo has is to play soccer. He doesn't have an obligation to do selfies or autographs or talk nice or do, get people inspired or do things. You can't, if you want to, sure. Just in my opinion, and this is new for me. All right. Like I said, this winning mindset is a project in motion.
Sure.
I've just been thinking about this lately. You do not owe anything. Athletes do not owe anything to anybody but the players. Because I'm working with a baseball guy. I can't mention his name, but he's really good. He wants to get better. All right. So I'm working on his mindset. And he calls it the rah-rah. He goes, I don't do the rah-rah. I go, and you shouldn't. You should focus on hitting that pill over the wall. That's it. All right. Don't focus on anything else. So, okay. Some athletes are better at it than others. Messi seems to be a great guy who does things like that, like you like. And if that inspires people, I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not necessary. So instead of I don't like when they focus negatively on an athlete, but sure, if some athletes like to do that.
Yeah.
Okay? Karch would hit that last ball and go running to the car to take him to the airport. All right. He didn't stick around for the interview on TV, the award ceremony where you stand up there and you get your trophy and you go, Miller Lite was great. Thank you, Cleveland. Right. He was gone.
Yeah.
Okay. He had young kids and he had been doing it forever. So I gotta give him a break. I don't have a problem with it. But I did a lot more, so I did a lot more promotion for the tour. So I was, did a ton of promotion, but I did big promotion where Sinja did like really micro. He'd love to do, small events, little clinics. He did appearances in stores. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities. And again, you're going to get criticized no matter what you do. So do what you like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if this kid, wait till the fame and everybody starts tearing at him. See if he continues to be humble. He's young.
That's true. That's a good point.
Life can smack you in the face. Just wait till someone accuses you of something you didn't do.
Yeah.
Right, as an athlete. So yeah.
Anyway,
of course, it's always nice. So it's great, but it's the same thing in business. I've been in business. I've met the biggest scumbags in business, including ones that have run the AVP tour. All right, they are scumbags. They are not inspiring, like you said. All right, they're not that athlete who's humble and we want to hear about. There's some business leaders that are like that. I think so. Yeah, I mean, I won't even tell you what one head of the AVP once told me.
Well,
it was horrible.
Okay, well, we'll hold that thought because I want to talk about the AVP in a minute here, but let's stay with this idea because I heard you, I think it was the Gabby Reese show. You were talking about how you do yoga, and
sure.
I was like, oh, really? Okay, that's cool because I'm a yogi myself, and there's something about yoga that's really cool. Yes, for the body you get more flexible, but for the mind-body connection, like that spiritual connection, and especially I want to ask you about visualization because when you're like specifically in Shavasana, which is the last pose, the corpse pose, you're just laying there. You can actually, in my experience anyway, you can actually really start to see things that your desired outcomes, which we like to do in sports, right? If we want to win, and I'm curious how you would respond to this as a champion, but like what I like to teach is like if you want a desired outcome, winning, you have to kind of project that visual image into your subconscious and be like, yes, this is what it looks like, this is what it feels like, attaching emotion to it. What is your experience with visualization throughout your career and now as a yogi?
Well, when I was a kid, I did a lot of visualization just because you're kind of daydreaming and dreaming.
Yeah, right.
I wanted to be a professional athlete. It didn't matter what it was. And I imagined myself again in the championship, being the guy at the championship moment. And I played a lot of sports growing up, and I won a lot growing up. That's what we say we can train. You get on a team where you're kicking everybody's butt. It doesn't, don't all these parents are like, oh, I'm going to have my kid up. You don't want failure out of you. So, well, when you're a professional, the moment you get to be a professional, the visualization works, but what really is focus. Okay, so. You're visually, again, you're like, when I'm a kid, I'm like, I'm going to be a baseball player, a basketball player, a volleyball, whatever. Like, I just want to be an athlete and win a championship, win a gold medal. When I was 8 years old, I was going to be a decathlon athlete, right? That didn't happen. But you're almost, God, as a professional athlete, as a champion athlete, you're really your image goes to like what the other team's going to do. So you're really focused on what St. John's going to do and what Randy's going to do, what Karch is going to do. And you're thinking about like, what am I going to do about these guys? Or what if he blocks line, what am I going to do? You're really visualizing. It's not so much the daydreaming you do as a kid. Again, you got to win a tournament, a match. You're visualizing almost the exact moves you're going to do. Okay, so all right, ready? All right, well, all right. I got Randy now. All right, he blocks like this. You can't tell what's going on in my brain here. Look at my brain. All right, you see what's happening in my brain. Okay, I'm going. All right, how does Randy block? All right, St. John likes to do this. He moves around. So I'm gonna. All right, what happens if he moves this way? What happens if he moves that way? Randy's gonna split block. Like, all right, I'm constantly running this reel of what I'm going to do against them, remembering, this, I call it the mental map, right? Your mental map. Again, it's not two-dimensional, it's three brain. So it's a big three-dimensional and time 5, 6, 800 dimensions. It doesn't matter. It's the point. So it's this map of what to expect. So next thing you know, when you've already been there. It's like, this is what I tell people, time dilations. You're an athlete, you can stop time if you know what you're doing. All right. All of a sudden the time stops, which is really, really creepy. And St. John's in the air like this. And or now the Vikings, you see that Viking hand, and he's gonna do the shot. Yeah. And you stop time. All right. And I've talked to Andy Fishburne. He says, yeah, I could just stop time too. All right. Then what you do is like, oh God, The Alchemist. Have you ever heard of The Alchemist?
Yeah, of course.
That scene in The Alchemist where he's in the desert, because that, when your focus is perfect and you stop time, that's when you can tell what to do, right? If you're not there, right? Human beings bounce between the future and the past. If you're not there, right, you don't know what to do. You're not going to know what to do. You're guessing, right? So now, next thing you do, you start moving into the future. All right. So you've stopped time. Now you're in the future. Now you're replaying it back and forth. Okay. So there goes St. John's hitting the line, back, and then you're like, okay, let's start the tape up again. And I start running towards the line, and I get it. If you've experienced it, you know it. It's good. So we talk about it. Pitter patter the feet. It might sound weird to you. It's not even close to being strange to me when I say time stops and I'm watching everybody. Like in movies, movies have these imageries too of time stopping, the Matrix, or going in the future and going back. The artists understand it as an experience, and human beings, you can have that experience too. All right, you want to be a scientist and be all scientific-y on me? Great. I've done so much visualization that it is almost like as if I've been in the future, because I know what you're going to do, because I've thought about it and I've seen it. I've run this tape back and forth. All right, people, the action precedes, or the thought precedes the action. I cannot move my arm unless something from here goes to here and tells it to move. All right, there's time in between there. You have to generate the thought to move the arm, and you could key in on that. So before I move my arm, I do this with my head, and then I move my arm. All right, you are seeing the future. So again, when you're young, visualization should be really happy and winning championships and yay. But when you get to be a professional athlete, your visualization's got to be way more specific, because you're working on really detailed parts of your mental map. All right, that's the point. Now I'm back. I'm an old man, 54 years old, and I take yoga. And I just love, in this case, I just want my brain to open up and just let everything flow, the universe to come in. Right. That's cool. Just the thought, I don't focus on a thought. I don't focus on anything. Just like, all right, I'm sitting here, ready? Everything's coming in. That's great. Cool. It's great. Yeah. So that makes me happy. Makes me really happy. That's so cool, man. I really love where that conversation went, because I think basically what you're talking about is being in the flow, right? When time stops like that, I mean, you're just your flow state. Yes. That's flow state, right? You're not going to be very good if you're not in a flow state. Right. A couple things. Number one, do you recommend let's talk athlete first, then we'll talk other non-athlete. Do you recommend athletes visualize before every practice and every game? I guess it depends on the athlete, right? I mean, it depends on, well, first of all, like you got to know if you're doing it right. Right. Bad advice out there. So what kind of visualization are you doing? It depends on the sport, right? So if anybody out there, if you Google Oh God, oh, Jesus! Who's the swimmer who's really good? Who got like 20 gold
Phelps.
medals?
Michael Phelps.
Right? He has a complete step-by-step visualization program that his coach put in, which is like from the moment he takes the socks off to put his swim shorts on to the second he gets in the blocks, and the whole way, right? Like they talk about it, his glasses fell off, but he had already visualized losing his glasses in a race.
That's right.
So if you like that step-by-step one, okay, that's cool too. If you like what I was talking about like sort of replaying players back and forth. But I've also heard people using visualization for, again, it's mental, physical, and emotional. So you can visualize physically, mentally, and emotionally. So you can also visualize how you're going to feel, right? What you're going to think about when you're playing. All right. Why don't you visualize having a great time out there? Like I said, I visualized in the pressure situation, having a great time. And when I was in the Olympics in 1996 and I was losing, I was not having fun. Or we talk about that in the book, in the first page of the book. Right. I was not having fun. I was out of balance. And my little boy in my head, little crazy boy in my head says, we are not having fun. That's why we play. Right? You're not going to win the championship. You're not going to have the champion mind in the championship if you don't have fun, because that's what you visualize. You visualize yourself winning and having fun. And I wasn't doing it. So I can get off on these topics. Yeah,
I love it. No, but
I don't do this for a living. I don't have any set shtick. I just made that up. Not made it up, but I just thought about that and verbalized it for the first time.
It's great.
It's true. Kent. Everything I just said is true.
It's great. And okay, so let's
original content. This is original content, people. You'll not find this anywhere else.
Well, let's continue down this road a little bit. So I've heard you talk about I have the book over here somewhere, the inner game of tennis. I've heard you talk about it before. It's probably right there. There you go.
There you go. It right next to you.
Let's talk about this.
Golf is not a game of perfect. Every athlete.
Yeah, man.
Next to you.
So let's talk about this self-talk and this self-1, self-2 that they talk about in that book. And I want you to frame it back to your experience as a champion, as an athlete. It doesn't even have to be a champion. It could just be an athlete. And this self-talk, because all the self-talk, I believe, really plays kind of a back and forth role with this idea of being in flow state and being, true to your visualization, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes. Here we go, people.
Yeah. So talk about
game of tennis, all right? This is from the 1970s. This is his foundational work. He was the first guy who started talking about that. We know a lot more right now. That's why the golf is not a game of perfect is more up to date.
Yeah.
But there's two selves, right? There's self 1 and self 2. And one is sort of rules based and knows the court size and says to hit the ball like this with the elbow. And the other side just likes to play, likes to have fun, it was tennis, right? So he was saying, that self 2 just wants to hit the ball. He wants to, how you see a kid, he just wants to whale it over the fence. You're like, no, you have to keep it in the lines. Like that's self 1. Self 2 wants to hit it over the fence. Self 1 says, you got to hit in the lines. So because what he was finding was athletes were talking to themselves. You see it all the time. God damn it, Steffes, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, who is the athlete talking to? Now all right, here it is. Ready? Everybody out there, we are made of parts. Now we know. All right. He said 2, there's more. Okay. We are not a single unitary being. We have a brain. It's got 3 different parts to it. It's even more parts than that. Then there's the pituitary system. Then there's, all the other systems that are going on in our body, right? There's the neurosystem. Sometimes they work together. Mostly they don't. Okay. So there's going to be one part of you, which is fighting another part of you. All right. Pain is an emotion. Fatigue is an emotion. It's your body trying to get you to stop. Okay. That's the selves in there. So again, the foundational work is there. Once you understand that, you can begin to have a conversation with yourself. Okay. Anybody out there who suffers anxiety as an athlete, ready? Here it is. Anxiety is your body's motivational tool. It's your best motivational tool. Your body is telling you you're not doing something. It's kicking you in the butt. I got it. You don't like it. I got it. It makes you feel uncomfortable, but you're not doing something. All right. Any athlete out there, next time you get anxiety, say this. What do you want me to do? What am I not doing? Like imagine it's a second person. This is the conversations that athletes have. Because that's how our brains are made up. That's how our bodies are made up. Okay. Like this part wants to sit down, around the couch and eat bonbons. This one wants to climb Mount Everest. He's got these inspirational thoughts. I want to win. I want to be a gold medalist, Kent. And the other guy's like, yeah, kind of. There's a great YouTube video I haven't watched on TikTok or whatever. Okay, this is what's going. We are no different than you. If elite athletes are no different than you. We're the same. We could just recognize it earlier, get back on track quicker. So again, you have anxiety. Simply ask, what am I not doing? You got to have a conversation all the time with yourself. That's what the guy from Inner Game of Tennis says. There is this conversation that's going on within athletes, in athletes' brains, in the competitions at the moment of truth, constantly. And you're kind of managing that thing. I said in 1996, a little boy popped up and says, you're not having fun. All right. That part of me said, you're not having fun and you're screwing up. Right. Again, when I was in Rio and it's 100 degrees, your body's saying, get back in the cool, air conditioned room. Your whole, all right, people, you walk out into 100-degree Rio de Janeiro, arena with 10,000 people screaming and throwing things at you. Your body's not going to like that. Right. Something on your body's going to be, you got to get out of here. All right. So before I'd start playing, God, I would call it flushing out. So you do a state change. So I couldn't breathe. Okay, when I first started playing, my arm, I called it spaghetti arm. My arm wouldn't work. Nobody ever wanted to play pepper with me because I sucked. Okay, before a game, my arm wouldn't work. I'd be like, I couldn't hit a ball. I'd hit the ball and go 3 feet from me. I couldn't even pepper it back to Karch. I couldn't breathe. I was thinking I'm hyperventilating, but I knew, because I was a professional athlete, I knew these are state changes. My body's like, stop, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. My arm's like, I'm not going to let you work. I'm not going to let you. And sometimes I'd get into the game and my arm wouldn't work, but I knew eventually it would. I'm telling you, I'm giving you the truth out there, people. No, every athlete does it. Some of them don't talk about it sometimes, but yeah, I'm hyperventilating. My arm doesn't work and I'm in the world championships, but I know it's going to, whatever. I wanted to win. So I just told myself, all right, if I'm going to hyperventilate, when my arm's going to do, and your body's screaming at you to stop. The pain that comes in is tough. The exhaustion that comes in. God, I looked at Adam Johnson and I go, I'm stopped sweating. Okay, my body stopped sweating because it's trying to get me to stop. Right, I'm about to go down. Guys on tour would go to the hospital in the ambulance. We call it the Whitmobile, because he would push himself so hard he'd go blind one time. He couldn't see.
Yeah.
Right. That's not healthy, I don't think.
Oh, this is really interesting, Kent. And so let's expand on, let's move into emotional management, which kind of is what you're talking about, because so this is where I want to take this. So we mentioned self 1, self 2, and you mentioned there's more, right? We know that there's more. Mm-hmm. So the way I like to frame emotional management, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, is strong voice, weak voice, which comes from Sue Enquist. Sue Enquist, a legendary softball coach at UCLA. She's awesome, and she talks about this management, this strong voice, I'm going to win, I'm a champion, let's go, fired up. Weak voice, I suck, I'm tired, we're going to lose, I don't even want to be here. Right? So specifically for a youth athlete, right? There's a constant management of those strong voices and those weak voices. So similar to self 1, self 2, but just slightly different. To me, it's really important to manage this strong voice. And when the strong voice comes, we want to tell the strong voice, stay. We want more strong voice, strong voice, strong voice, strong voice. When the weak voice comes, we want to be like, that's my weak voice. Thanks for showing up, but I don't need you right now. We'll talk later or something like that. Or maybe even I ignore you. I don't need you at all right now. But to identify, to be aware of those different voices. Would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, okay. First of all, they happen. They happen all the time. So the way I would approach it is this way. You are a human being. There's nothing that's happening within you that is wrong or bad. All right. Anxiety is there for a reason. Fear is there for a reason. Exhaustion is there for a reason. So my only problem with strong and weak voice is I don't like the verbiage. It should be strong voice and strong voice. You shouldn't be thinking that it's bad, right? The things that they're telling you, again, the moment you sit there and say it's bad, or you try to get away from it. I don't know if that's the way to do it. Okay. I would say they're both right. What are you trying to tell me? All right. It's not, again, being an athlete puts you into jeopardy as a human being. Right? makes complete sense to me that when you're working with youth, they have voices in their head telling them to stop, tell them to do something differently. That's what they're doing. They're telling them this is because it's not what they should be doing. That once you recognize that, I think now you begin to have this conversation with it. Why don't you want me to play sports? Like, why are you sending me that voice? Like, what are you trying to tell me? Again, if you take the postulation that it's good, right? That it's part of you, therefore it must have a purpose. What is its purpose? Right? Ultimately, you're going to have a conversation. And here's the key: you rewatch this. You said something interesting. You don't get to tell it to go away. You're not in charge. It's in charge. Okay, anxiety's in charge. Fear's in charge. Pressure's in charge. And if you don't listen to it and have a conversation with it, you're not in charge. All right. So if a kid comes, you're like, well, all right, these voices, good. That's good. Yeah. Kent Steffes has voices in his head. Yeah. I've talked to him. I've told Payne, I said, look, hey, Payne, like, we're good. Like, all right, so in Brazil, I'm like, I get it, buddy. I get it. But I'm not on the savannah 30,000 years ago about to be eaten by a lion. I'm in a stadium in a city with, the ambulance is right there. If I got a problem, with doctors everywhere. So don't worry, I'm good. Don't worry. Right. So that's how I would approach it with the kids too. Be like, God, kids, like, that's a problem with girls sports when they're young. They want to go hang out with their friends, and boys, they don't want to jump around in the dirt. It's hard to keep girls motivated. You got to get it with pizza and ice cream. You have to have them fun if you want, especially young girls, to stay with sports. Yeah,
no, it's really cool. I appreciate that take on that. What about for the everyday person, may not be an athlete, just walking around, just going through their life, going to work, coming home, emotional management tools for them?
That's harder, I think, because the goal in sport is easier. We're trying to win. So we know what we're doing. We know we're pushing through pain and exhaustion. It can be more difficult in your everyday life because a lot of people don't have a goal that they're really fired up to do every day, right? You gotta want to get up there. What's the first thing you do when you get up in the morning? You're like, oh God. Or you're like, yeah, man, like I live in a great place. I go to the window. I love where I live. I look out of the Malibu Mountains. I said, this is a great day. Like my partner Trace is always like, every day you say it's a great day. I go,
That's cool, man.
And I'm in the markets too, right? So we're on New York time. So I got to get right in there. I want to see what the markets are doing, right? I dig that now. If you don't have something like that, those other voices, the weak voices you talked about, they're going to dominate, right? They're going to dominate because you're going to be like, oh, I'll just go drink today and all this. I'm not going to go to the gym. What do they say? Here's a perfect tip. No matter what happens, get your clothes on, get your shoes on, and drive to the gym. No excuse.
Right. Okay? Just show up.
Once you show up, if you don't want to work out, that's fine. Don't make that decision at home. Don't say I don't want to work out today. Every day you're going to that gym. I don't care what it is. If you don't want to work out, just get your clothes on, go in there. Because now you're in there, you're like, maybe I might as well work out. I'm here. That's the way there's no. As you get older, an everyday person, again, if you don't train everything I just said about, the management, emotional management can be trained just like a muscle, right? Just because it's emotional and a mental doesn't mean it's not just like a muscle. Jumping. If you train jumping, you got to do your weightlifting, you got to apply metrics, you got to jump, you got to do your form correctly. You're going to jump better. Your emotional management's the same way. I've done it. I've done mental management, emotional training, mental training. You can do it. So again, it doesn't, I get that's what all that stuff you're talking about, yoga and meditation, and all the classes people do. I think if I were to like everyday people, it's not as difficult as you think. It's not as big a deal. It's like it's totally normal that you could find yourself in a situation where like you said, the weak voice is kind of overwhelming you a little bit. Now, do you have a goal that you're going for? Or even better, are you doing a little time training? You brush your teeth every day. You work on your emotional management every day. Work on your emotional management when you're brushing your teeth. Okay. Yeah. Work on generating your strong voices when you're brushing your teeth. Okay.
Totally.
Or showering. When you're in the shower, talk about mental training. Again, that's right. So
great tip.
if you're not spending time on a goal or trying to create a goal, if you're not spending time visualizing yourself being happy, being successful, being that, if you're not going to a mental and emotional gym, okay, not the physical gym, the mental and emotional gym, what are you going to expect? What do you expect?
Yeah, man.
What do
Yeah.
you expect? Carve out a little bit of your day. It's a long day. You're not that busy, people out there. You're not that busy. You can carve out some time.
Two things come to mind on that real quick. Number one, I would say one of the best things I've done recently in my life is I started to shut out the noise, right? Like the news, because that controls your narrative, right? And so, right,
It's specifically designed.
it's
It's to be
designed to,
addictive.
correct,
Yes.
correct.
Yes.
So like to me, that's a big tip. And what I'm doing now is I surround myself with people that really inspire me, like yourself, and like people who have been on the show, and like people that feed the best version of myself. I can take a tip from Kent Steffes or whoever it may be, rather than people who look at the glass half empty. And that was the second thing that comes to mind, which is this abundance mindset. And like, you being, successful in a hedge fund. I mean, to me, there's three ways to look at the glass. It's either half empty, half full, or overflowing. Right. And I like the overflowing, right? And that's just that, to me, that kind of encompasses everything that we're talking about, right? Which is like, yes, winning mindset and being in the flow, and having the good self-talk. That's overflowing abundance. Can you speak to that?
Again, if you have an abundance mindset, you will get abundance.
Yeah.
Right. They did a study on luck. Okay. There are lucky people and there are unlucky people, and the lucky people are looking to be lucky.
Right.
All right. It has to do with awareness, actually. Right. But lucky people aren't just lucky. They try to get lucky. Okay. So you got the abundance mind. People who have abundance have an abundance mindset. Okay. People who visualize, people who are being successful are visualizing. So I call it a switch. Right.
Yeah.
I call it the winning switch.
Right.
Right. It is not difficult. You either flip the winning switch or not. Now, this switch might be in a room with a bunch of junk all over it, piled high with all bunch of garbage that you have trouble getting to and finding, but it's just switch. You just choose that abundance mindset, that luckiness. Just look, I'm going to get lucky today on something. Just think about it. Think about it. I'm going to get lucky today.
I love that.
I'm going to get something today. I'm going to get something,
That's great.
Your brain then again, it's not hoopty doopty whoopty doopty, yoga stuff. Like back in the day, yoga people were like, oh, they're kind of flowery children. We now have the science on it. We now have the studies on it. All right. What happens when you have an abundance mindset, a luck mindset, a winning mindset is your brain shifts. The chemicals in your brain change. All right. And you begin to look for abundance. You begin to look for opportunity. All you got to do is change. But
that's gold, bro. That's beautiful. Let's spend a little bit of time on the within the game part of it, which is I played right side. So I want to pick your brain a little bit on the right side, your approach. Yeah, the famous high line that no one could get. I've heard you talk about it before. You've had two shots, your angle and your high line.
That's all you need. You just need two
that's all
shots.
you need. And I'd love to hear some strategy stuff. I've also heard you talk about just hit them where they're not, which is pretty funny. Talk a little bit about the specifics of the game, and you could even bring up how you broke down that game footage last night on the
I did it yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah, so anybody who doesn't know, if you go to my Facebook page, I just decided that, because I'm writing about winning right now. I'm just doing some promos for the book.
Yeah.
So I write some stuff up on Facebook, like some of the outtakes from the book, basically. And didn't make the cut just for a variety of reasons. But so I was talking about how you chart the chain, how you chart a match. And because Tri-Born was telling me they stink, the coaches, they don't give them good information. So I said, I'll do it. I'll show you. So I took just a random game, the finals in Cancun, and I broke it down. I'll show you how to beat the Norwegians. I'll show you how to beat the Qataris. 30 days with the Qataris, Aaron. They'll be the best team in the world if I had them.
And it's really, yeah.
Oh, sorry. All right, let's get specific.
Yeah.
You hit it where they ain't, okay? Next Monday, if you go to my Facebook page, right, it's 9/16 right now. It's September 16th. Monday, I'm going to tell you, okay? You got to find the core of a sport, right? Every sport has a core, right? What's its purpose? You have to understand the purpose of the sport, or you won't understand its meaning. Okay, and if you don't understand the meaning of the sport you're playing, you're lost. That's why you have to love a sport. You have to love a sport, because if you don't love it, it's not going to show you its meaning. Yeah. All right. So what is the core? Right? What are you trying to do? I say hit it where they aren't, and everybody laughs at me. That's what you're trying to do. Yeah. All right. You hit it where they're not. All right. That's an offense. Okay. You got to start with the core. You put a plan. I call it a tent pole, right? You got to put a tent pole somewhere. You got to put a cornerstone in somewhere.
So right there, talk about vision, because I've heard you talk about this before, where your eye, you have to see the block, right?
Well, how are you going to hit it where they're not if you can't see where they are? Okay?
So how many looks? Okay, so this is specific. How many looks did you used to take? Because I think you took about 3.
Not 1.
1? Really?
Yeah, you're misunderstanding how vision works.
Okay, yeah. Talk about that.
Okay, again, what's the purpose of a sport? All sports challenge your humanity in many ways. What is it in volleyball? It's the inability to see near and far at the same time.
Okay.
So you can either focus on the near or focus on the far. You have to do both. Okay, you have to train yourself to look at something near and something far. All right, so you can train it by just, let me see, do I have a volleyball here? All right, here we go, guys. Here we go. Kent Steffes. You want it. Here it is. All right. So I sit there and I bounce the ball, but I'm looking at you, right? I'm looking at it. See my eyes? I'm not looking at the ball.
Yeah.
So I'm training myself to see the ball.
Peripheral vision.
No, it's not peripheral vision. It's not peripheral vision. It's a single unitary vision. Right? You just surrender. Trust me, you have to surrender. You have to detach. Just here, right? The ball has a ballistic trajectory, right? So you know where it's going. Actually, you don't have to see it, because you see in the future and you visualize. You don't have to see where it's going. Especially got a partner like Karch, who sort of sets the ball everywhere. So it's great to play with a great player. Okay, you know where the ball is going. So do you have to track it or see it? No, you use another part of your brain or your vision. Again, if you got to hit it where they're not. The only way to do it is to be able to see. So the ball has to be here in front of you. Go look at my Facebook page. The 2 top teams in the world in the finals of a tournament are looking up like this. Okay, they cannot see the block. They cannot see the defensive player. They're guessing, and you can beat them that way.
Okay, so you're taking 1 look. So when I watch high level and when I still play, I tend to take a look kind of as I'm finishing my pass. Like Todd Rogers was really good at this. Maybe take another look and then maybe another look. Are you saying that you didn't used to do that and you don't recommend that? Is that too many looks?
Look, you got to build on things. Look, all right, I have this problem with youth sports with my kids. Go look at video. They're not looking at the ball. All right. Now you just said passing. All right. You're not looking at the ball when you're passing. You don't do this with the ball. All right.
Yeah.
I got a drill against the wall. You hit. Right? I got a ton of things here. You're just sort of hitting the ball. You're not doing this. All right. Looking at the ball. If you're like hitting against the wall, it's not how it works. You don't see people doing this when they're passing. All right. You're looking like this and the ball comes in, right? So the ball's here. You're passing like this, all right. First of all, they teach you like your body follows your eyes. Okay. So if you're not looking in the right direction, if you're looking at the ball, you're going, it's the wrong way to do it.
No, I got you.
They talk about driving, right? You got to look where you want to go. Anyway.
Yeah, that's interesting. That vision is really interesting though, because I think everyone does that a little differently, but you were able to see the block really well. And you talked about going up against Witt a lot, which is a huge block.
Well, all right. So first of all, you've made a trade-off in your jump, right? I think most people are indoor trained now.
Yeah.
Before. Yeah. So in indoor, you really have to jump high. You have to go up because it's different. There's not shots and stuff like that. It's not you're higher. Most people jump straight up, and you have to jump out, and that's a problem because it's in sand. Okay, it gives way when you try to move. Right. So it's like trying to jump out of water. Right. So most people, their feet start going. The only way they can jump is up. You have to train yourself to be jumping forward. Now, maybe mentally you don't want to do that because you think you got to jump high. I got to jump as high as I can. I got to reach as high as I can. That's not it. If you want to sacrifice a little height so you can see, there's one thing. You have to be again, you have to be jumping forward. Okay, so you can come into the ball so you can see it. You have to be coming in, and they don't do it. The top players don't do it. The ones that win do it more often. Okay, and I'm the winningest player of all time. You don't see the other team. You're gonna. Let me put it this way: if you can see the other team, right? You got their tells and tendencies. You know how they block, how they play defense. You know what they're gonna do, and you just look for it.
And you can
hit it where they're not.
Hit it where they're not. Okay, so strategy.
Simple game. It's a simple game, Aaron. Hit it where they're not. Pass, set, hit.
So strategy. So winning strategy. So back when it was side out scoring, if you side it out and you got a real point, you got a point, right? You got a point. And if you did that a few times throughout the game, you're most likely we're going to win. Now, when you can get a point on their error, what I like to do, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I'd love your thoughts on this, but what I like to coach, and what I like to practice is, I not only want to get a point, however, whether it's on my good or their error, I want to get the next one in a row quickly so I can get 2 points in a row. If I can get 2 points in a row throughout a game, usually I'm going to get to 21 first. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that strategy.
So you're saying like you really want to focus harder after a point?
Yeah, that is what I'm saying.
You know what's funny? We did a drill like that was specifically designed to you had to get a side out and a point,
right? 2 in a row
in order to get the point,
right?
The master point, and you like, oh, okay, we really got to side out this one because we get the big point, and it trained you to like really focus on that. So yeah, that's a good technique. Any technique you can do to try to self-motivate and fire yourself up is good. I would say so. But here's another one. Like, we never want to give up 2 points in a row ever.
Right.
That was a big deal. Like, no, like never we're gonna die before we give up 2 points in a row. So again, I think if I understand you correctly, you're coming from a focus perspective. You're trying to use a technique to get into focus, which is great because focus is hard. You got to get back on focus. You got to fire up. Like, again, all these people say, oh, I give 110%. You can't. This is how it goes in the game. It goes up and down and up and down. You can't give 100% effort, or else, like Usain Bolt is not a good 5,000 meter runner. He's a good 100.
Right.
Okay, because if he ran that fast, he'd die. Okay, so
I guess the other thing I was trying to get at too is momentum, right? Because when you grab momentum, you want more of it, right? And then when they have momentum, you want to stop their momentum.
Oh, so my God, there's a part in the game, the Cancun game. I didn't do the second game. I just did the first game. There's a time when Sheriff completely mentally, he has a mental big lapse, and he gives up a couple points. If you could, and I think the Norwegians knew it because they played against him, and they knew to get on that guy when he's having a mental lapse. He tried some shot on two, and you just mess it up before he got back on track. So yeah, like if a guy makes a mistake and you can get on him, or you feel they're tired, you go after him. You go after him hard. You look at him too, like this. I'm coming after you, putting the pressure on you.
Yeah, totally. So I want to kind of one more thing before we move into the AVP. I want to talk about the business of the AVP, but I want to ask you how you utilize stoppage time, because there's a lot of stoppage time in beach volleyball, and I want this to be relatable outside of sport too. So let me say what I want to say, and then I'd love to hear your response. So I think the best players in the world utilize that stoppage time, and by stoppage time I mean the time between each whistle, which is a lot of time. If you count up all that time throughout a whole match, I mean, you're talking a lot of minutes of dead time. But it's probably right this at the game right now is probably about 8 seconds, maybe anywhere between 8 and 15 seconds. When you were playing, what would you say it was?
We knew for a fact because we had a clock.
Well, yeah.
So, 1 hour game, it would be less than 8 minutes of actual physical play.
Right. So
average play was 4.5 seconds average.
Okay. So how did you use that? How did you utilize that stoppage time to your benefit?
Just getting ready, getting back in focus, getting under what's going to happen, right?
Right.
Like that with a stoppage sport like volleyball is, football is the same way, basketball is not. It's a flow sport. You have to what's going on, right? It depends, right? So if am I blocking? Am I serving? Am I receiving serve? And who's receiving? Who's serving? Right. So you're getting prepared. You're getting prepared.
Okay.
You're not drifting.
Okay, so just
know what you mean?
Yes, that is what I mean. And then, so okay, let's say there's 10 seconds of stoppage time. I don't know. Maybe it's between each play. Maybe it's a little less. Maybe it's a little more. Out of those 10 seconds, how much time are you allocating to reflect? How much time are you right here, right now? And how much time are you setting up the next play in your mind?
Well, reflect is easy. It's
is it zero or is it
the past?
Yeah. Or is it like 1 or 2? Are you saying, okay, I got to do that better next time? Shoot, let's go. Or are you just watching it?
You have to have no memory. Okay. As a professional, you have to have no memory. Yeah. God, I read some of these sports psychologists, and half of it is, overcoming what you did, like getting beyond it, they say. I get it. The only way to throw it is the switch. Just stop. Just doesn't matter.
That's
ready.
Cool.
Here's the thing. This is a Tony Robbins thing too. It's an NLP thing now. Neuro-linguistic program, whatever.
Yeah.
Bandler is the guy who did it first. Transformations. Go Google it. There's nothing in your past that's going to help you in your future. I know. Wow. There's a whole section over here that says differently, and I don't think they're right. I think the Bandler and the Robbins and the NLP is right. There's nothing in your past that's going to help you in your future. Period.
That's deep.
No matter what happened to you. Yeah, it's not this. Or to put it this way, the solution isn't back there.
I like that.
It's in front of you.
Right? I like that.
So yeah. I mean, God, you just right. I lost half the tournaments. Less than half the tournaments I played, and when as a player, you're going to have a lot of adversity. You're gonna lose a lot, but it's not. You have to reframe it too. Like losing sucks, and I get blocked. I got blocked by Carl in the final because I was dumb. I was coming in straight. So I said you can't do that. But again, like I don't know. I guess I'd have to talk to an athlete. Again, I told you I've been some of the people have been calling me lately to try to talk about winning. Some professional baseball player in particular I told you about.
Yeah.
I don't know what else is going on in their mind. And I don't know. I'd have to talk to somebody to ask them, well, what are you thinking about and why? Like, why are you thinking about that?
Right.
Like, what would you say? Like, so what do your kids say if you ask them that? Right? Like, why would you think about that? I got blocked 100 times by Whitmore. Like, dude, Whitmore's blocking me was hot if I wasn't on board, and it happened a lot. Yeah. Okay. And those guys, we won a lot of tournaments, but we would lose, and those guys could beat us. Like, literally, when Whitmarsh was motivated, and Mike Dodd, because he was an old man when I played him, when he was feeling good and had some couple of painkillers in, they could beat us. No other teams could actually win unless we were really screwing up, but they could beat us. Like, it happens. What do you want to do? Go out. Do you want to play? You don't want to play. You want to win, people? If you want to win, don't worry about the bat. Go win tomorrow. How many gold medals you got to win, people? How many world championships you got to win? How many tournaments you got to win? Ready? 1. And by the way, the next one's the only one you can win. You can't win that one. All right. You can only win that one. So go ahead this way. Don't think that mindset. Way. Right.
That's a good mindset. Yeah. I like that.
Same thing with any play.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
But yeah, so I'm always in the future, right? I'm always trying to stop time. And I'm always in the future constantly.
I like
right.
That.
So I'm bouncing between future and focus now. Like the Alchemist talks about it beautifully. Alchemist talks about it beautifully. The personal legend, right?
Yeah.
He hits it square down the middle.
I love that. Yeah. Briefly mention talking about playing with Karch Kiraly and Jose Loyola.
It's always great to play with the world's best players. It's always great. That's the good thing about being number one. You get to choose the other number one. You guys are the 2 number ones.
Any specifics that you could? Yeah. Any specifics about playing with those guys?
In terms of what? I mean,
anything.
I spent more time with them than they did with their wives during the tour.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think Karch?
Very focused. Very, very. He's a beach volleyball player. That's all he wants to do. That's all he wanted to do in life. He didn't want to do anything else, right? he wouldn't read a book. He wouldn't read a magazine. He wouldn't read a newspaper. He just sat there and like this, play volleyball, go back and sit down.
And win, right? Like focus on winning, right? Winner.
He didn't talk much. So I don't really have much of an insight into his thought process.
Interesting.
And I guess he's probably maybe speaking now, but like you would ask him a question like, "Oh, Karch, what do you think about the upcoming election?" You'd be like, "What do you think? Who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl?" He's like, "Well, who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl?" we would sit there in the players' tent. Or not the players that we'd sit there in the when the side changes, right? In the player box, he wouldn't say a word. He'd just be Jose's yapping the whole time. It's he was, I think first of all, he's very emotional, right? He's got a lot of emotion. Like he's very, very sensitive, very sensitive. I had to be careful that I didn't hurt his feelings because he would go over the wire. He's a very sensitive guy. So he had a lot of emotional. He was trying to work on that emotional, control. Right? You see himself punch himself in the head every once in a while. He'd get pissed.
Yeah,
so
but
that Jose was like he's type 2 athlete. Right? So there's self 1, self 2. All right. Like the inner game of tennis. Jose's a self 2 athlete. Karch is a heavy duty self 1 athlete. Right. So Jose's the guy who's going to kick the ball down, when he's going to try to kick it with his foot. He's all over. He's crazy. He's jumping. He's deciding this and that. Kind of got to bring Jose, back into himself. Like play within yourself. Karch had no problem with that. But God, Jose was a phenomenal athlete. Phenomenal. Jump high, run high. He just sometimes you just get bored. I talked about before. I'm bored.
That's funny.
Athletes out there, a lot of volleyball players, I know you get bored, right? That's the problem. You got to watch the tape. It's boring. You got to play pass, set, hit. Pass, set, hit. Pass, set, hit. Over and over. That's the game. Don't get bored. Don't get bored. Like Jose would be funny, and Mangus would be going crazy. So yeah, those are the two things. Both of them were obviously hard workers, right? Both really good. Karch was a really good student of the game, clearly. He was also. Here's another deal between the two. He didn't want. Karch was old school. Those guys didn't like to make mistakes. No serving errors. Like Ron Von Hagen told me, he goes, "Why are you blocking, Ken? It's a sign of weakness. Don't you agree with your side out game?" I'm like, Ron, if we're not blocking people, they're going to cut. I don't know how it's going to win. It's like, well, just don't give up a point on your side out. So same thing. Why are you jump serving, Ken? Or we got to put him in trouble, Ron Von Hagen, so he can score points. Like, it's a sign of weakness.
That's funny.
So he'd be, Karch, hit it in, never make a mistake. He got the worst. Let's see his lollipop. Guys, you want to win gold medals, be like Karch, lollipop serves. Okay? The easiest serves on the planet is lollipop him over there. Because that's good though. He was tight. He didn't want to make a mistake. You'll see it in that Cancun match with Sheriff. Okay, he's just all over the map, right? Making mistakes. Those guys make mistakes all the time. Yeah. Their fundamentals are off, but they overcome it with they're really hard workers. Okay? Yeah, you got to really work hard like they do when their fundamentals are so bad. Okay, so Karch would always hit high probability shots. You want to look, all right, so if you look at a game and you look at what's high probability and what's low probability, Karch was always playing high probabilities. All right, the other guys they want to go for it. They're bored. You want to take an open shot, not with someone in your face, not going backwards. So you high probability, low probability. Karch was the master at that, of playing the probabilities. Yeah. Jose was a little bit more artistic, right? A little more expression. He just liked to crack balls and hit balls hard and run around and jump and do this whole deal. And yeah. No, that's awesome. Like two totally different opposite sides. I know. I like asking. I was number one with Karch and I switched and was number one with Jose. So yeah, that's another record I have, actually. I think I've kept track. I was the only one who was number one with one guy that one year and then number one with another guy the next year. I think that's really cool because it shows interpersonal skills, which is a huge part of this game. You have to be able to, deal with two different, totally different types of people, right? Two different personalities and be successful. Yeah, the only way you can do it is to give in, give up. So, it wasn't about me. My goal was to win. Yeah, right. Not to push my own personality onto somebody and to get interpersonal issues with with anybody. And that's a big problem with sports. They don't talk about it. Like it's a lot of tension on teams.
Yeah.
Kobe and Shaq weren't best buds.
Right. Right.
They had to figure out a way to work together. And so I like I said, if I had to carry a guy's bags through the airport, I'd do it because my goal is to win. All right. Yeah. Karch wanted to be left alone. All right. Don't even say anything about his game. Like, don't even give him any suggestion. Don't talk to him. Don't talk to Karch when you're playing with him. All right. It just piss him off. He'll get all offended. He gets offended really quickly. He did. That's how St. John got to him. St. John would just pimp him all the time and just get him crazy. Jose, on the other hand, was freaking exhausting to play with because he needed that motivation. Come on, Jose. Come on. Let's go, buddy. Come on. So I went from doing nothing in the player box during side changes, like, come on, Jose, you're the greatest, let's go. Chest bumps, high fives, Jose. Even now it's getting me crazy. It's getting tiring.
That's funny.
So that's how you work with different people. You got to work with people. Go out. Hopefully, your partner does that to you too. That's the best teams when both of you guys are doing that for each other.
But that's relatable to life skills, right? We all need that in life, in business and relationships. And I mean, that's why I love the game beach volleyball. We can take those lessons and we can apply them elsewhere. Mm-hmm. Okay, I know you're passionate about this topic. Let's talk about the business of beach volleyball.
I went to business school. I got an economics degree. I got a finance degree too. Two things I like volleyball and I like business. So Business of Volleyball is really fun.
And me too. And so, okay, so let's get into this. So over the years, beach volleyball as a business has been very rocky. And I know you have a vast knowledge of this, but I want to tell you where I'm coming from real quick. So I actually got an internship at the AVP when I was 13. It was Dan Vrabolovich, I want to say 97-ish. 97, right around there, right around
when
it's
about to go bankrupt.
It was
they were
Bill
burning
Berger.
through money and screwing it up.
Right. So it was Bill Berger, Dan Vrabolovich. It was a little office in the Marina Del Rey. So I got to be in there. I got to kind of see, what was going on, and it was a little rough, And so you talk about in other podcasts, you talk about how like you guys back in the 90s and even prior to that, right? Like the early 90s, the glory days, 93.
When I was playing, when I was number one.
Yes.
When I was in charge.
Miller time, right? Big money.
And Cuervo, baby.
Cuervo, Miller. Like from that time, and then fast forward to now, we've had a rocky road, bankruptcies, viewership changes. I know you got the business plan. I know we're going to talk about that.
This is my office.
I know. But I'd like, before we get into
a bunch of jerks are involved. Jerks, stop coming to my sport. I freaking hate you people. Get out of my. If you're a jerk, get out of my SWAT.
Well,
sports attracts it attracts bad people and incompetent people. Period. Right? Because the incompetent people just think it's fun, and the bad people are just bad. They like to do bad things. That's a problem.
Man, right. Okay. So, Here's where I
want me to tell you how bad it is. You want me to tell you about the head of the AVP?
Sure,
the guy who owned it.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to tell you people what it's like. This is what he told me in the Peninsula Hotel to my face. He said that women's beach volleyball is over because online porn is free, and therefore no one's going to watch beach volleyball women. So he equated beach volleyball females to pornography. He was in charge.
Yeah.
Is that the guy who won in charge of your sport? Is that guy going to be successful with your sport? No, he's not. Okay, that's ridiculous. All right.
Yeah, right.
Sick too, weirdly.
Okay, so here I'm gonna give you my take real quick on what I think happened and where I think we should go, and I'd like to hear your thoughts. Okay, so I think what happened in the 90s was we had alcohol money, right? This the Miller time, the Cuervo, like you mentioned, right? That was the main exchange because it wasn't a ticket sale. And I've heard you talk about another podcast. It's not, you're not relating to players. There's no player stories happening. You can't really get behind a team, even though you and Karch were, maybe the best team ever. And I was a fan. You guys inspired me when I was a kid. But like, right, there's no jersey sale. I can't get a Kent Steffes jersey. you know.
I got one. I give you.
I mean,
I'll
but I
send you
can't get one. I can't. But I'm saying as a
Kent
fan,
Steffes
right?
Field jerseys. I got 3 of them still.
But I'm saying as a fan, right? Like I can't go buy merch, really.
Why
you know.
not?
So, well, that wasn't available. It's still not available. I can't go buy like, you know what I mean? So
Why
like,
not?
but it's not like this, right? Like, you know,
because they're doing it wrong. They're doing it wrong.
Right. That's my point. So back then you had alcohol money. That was the exchange. The exchange was you get to go to an event and you get to see that branding, and then that was the exchange. So I think they've tried to duplicate that throughout, this whole time. And now it's still kind of like that. You got all these different sponsors, kind of, they're trying to do the NASCAR model, but there's still really no exchange. It's entertainment. Yeah, for sure. I get that. When I come, I get to see entertainment, but that's kind of my issue with it. Where's the exchange?
What do you mean exchange?
Exchange. You go to a Laker game, you buy a ticket, you get an experience. That's the exchange. Mm-hmm. I get to go have an experience.
Right.
So at a beach volleyball tournament, it's not quite an experience, in my opinion. And it is what it is, right? And I've heard you say that before.
Here's the big question.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
What makes you think they want one?
Well, yeah.
All right. What's the AVP's business model? It's not professional beach volleyball. It's amateur volleyball. All right. AVP keeps the professional side solely for the branding. Their business is amateurs. It's memberships. Okay. They're required by the ball contract to do 3 tournaments, and that's all they do. So if the players want something different, the players want something different. I play for the Association of Volleyball Professionals. We formed a players union, players group, and we went and sold our services. Nobody else is going to do it. All right. Yeah. But us. And that's why we were successful. The AVP is now a corporation, it's a business under Bally's that's mostly in the amateur area. They just bought the largest grass tournament company of all time. AVP wants to do Pottstown Rumbles, right? They don't want to do Manhattan Beach Opens.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But I guess where I'm coming from is I want it to thrive. Like, I'm a fan, it's not like, I say the whole exchange thing, but it's like, I want there to be an exchange. I want the prize money. I just saw Alcaraz at the US Open get handed a check for $2.5 million for one tournament. Our champions just got handed a check for 30 grand split.
Yeah. Well, is that what people want? They want more money?
I think it would really help. I think it would really help to fight for something other than just a plaque.
Who are you going to fight?
Yeah.
Here's the business plan, people.
Yeah,
Here's the plan. I got all the people you need to put it together, and nobody's going to do it. That's the tragedy. That's why I wrote it up. And I said it's in Travis's hands and Tri Bourne's hands. Right?
Yeah, right.
Don't complain to them. They have the power. Okay.
Well, give a little sneak peek of it. You don't have to go details, but what should the AVP do?
Players. Okay.
So the AVP
is into grass tournaments. Okay. Who wants professional volleyball tournaments? All right. The professional players do.
So what should the players do then?
Call me. All right. Here's the story. Right. Volleyball is not big. Okay. Right, I know everyone gets pissed at me for some reason when I say it's not that big, and it's not. It's a small business. It's a business size. It's not. There's 4 million people. I just looked this up yesterday. There's 4 million people who play beach volleyball. There's 45 million who play tennis, and there's 60, 70 million who play golf. All right. So your market is not big. You have to get the most market you can. All right. And it's tough because you have to. The best places to play are beaches, and those are municipally owned, and they're not that interested in giving it to you for free to advertise stuff necessarily. You got to make deals with them. But and again, you're going to have to ask for people's help. All right, if it's going to work, you're going to have to ask a lot of people for help, and they don't want to screw around. All right, I got plenty of guys. Like billionaires that would be helpful. I got business people that would be helpful. People who know how to do sponsorship deals. They don't want to screw around.
Right.
They don't want to screw around with people that aren't serious. So I'll tell you what. Ready? The top 10 players, men. Doesn't just give me the top 10 guys. Form an association. Say somebody sell us. That's all it takes. Imagine I had a tour. Imagine I had all these guys I talk about. Well, who do I talk to? Who do I talk to if I want to put it on? All the players are sitting around saying, who's going to give me money? Okay. Is that how it works? Is that how your law firm, that's how it works? Hey, just walk in. Don't you want legal service? Come walk in and find me. You got to get out there yourself.
Yeah. It's
not bad. I mean, everyone does a sports roulette. I talk about it all the time. Well, we should be like this and be like that and be like, Formula One is enormous. Okay. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey are enormous. Stop comparing yourself to those. Start comparing yourself to axe throwing. All right. That's probably more appropriate. Nobody likes to hear that. But saying like, well, what did some guy say? He was a 21 ranked player. He goes, I should be paid the same as a 21 ranked golfer. That guy makes $5 million.
Right.
That's not going to happen. Okay.
I think the reason behind that is relatability, right? Beach volleyball is just not relatable to most people. Like
not at all. No, right. It's not. It's complexity, narrative, and communication. There's specific things we know. Game's not that complex. Okay. Golf and tennis aren't that complex, but they have industries around them. So shoes, rackets, golf clubs, golf balls, golf courses. Golf has an affiliation deal, right? So all CEOs and rich people like to play golf because I've made it. I'm a golfer. So they understand their business model. What it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter how big beach volleyball is. They're not maximizing what they can do, and the best you can do is to maximize it. Okay. All right. So it's a terrible, all right. Volleyball is small. Okay. You need to go play on public places. That's why they always want to do these stadiums, and why they did a parking lot in Long Beach, because they have to control the area, because you got to go down to Huntington Beach and the city council is not that happy to have a beach volleyball tournament for a for-profit entity. All right. They'll do it for a nonprofit. They'll do it if you're helping out the community. All right, so that's a bad thing. You have an FIVB tour where all the good players are, and your guys could leave anytime they want, and who knows what's going to happen with that. So if you're going to start an American tour, what if the top Americans don't come? You got a lot of things you're overcoming, right? That's why if the players aren't working, like again, if the players aren't out there
asking like what, for sponsorships, asking for
the guy who's going to get you the sponsorship money, the Leonard Armato, the Jeff Dankworth, the Ruben Acosta are very expensive. Okay, they're very expensive because they're very good at what they do.
What about
why are they going to give the money to you?
Right.
Okay?
What about, well, maybe your social media following, maybe you have a big following on social media, but why
I can get the check. I can get the check tomorrow. It's not. Here it is. Here's the business. I'm telling you. All right.
I want to see that thing.
Nobody want to try. It's over on Travis's refrigerator.
I'm gonna call him.
Yeah, McKibben, Madison McKibben. I'm not contradicting myself. I know what I'm talking about.
Why?
You get pushback. You get pushback from everybody. Everybody's got it. All right. First of all, let me give you an example. Everybody changes. The volleyball changes the rules all the time. All right? They're like, oh, we need to make it more exciting. Says who? First of all, what makes you think excitement is what drives fans to a sport? That's idiotic. Okay, golf is freaking boring, as is tennis, and they make a ton of money. So it ain't about excitement. Okay, so let's change the rule to make it exciting. Really? Okay, that's wrong, but whatever. Oh, Sinjin was on a podcast. Well, don't you want to see it go back and forth? No. Rallies are more exciting because they're rare. Okay, they're rare. Home runs are rare. That's why they're exciting too. But if every hit's a home run, then it's not that exciting.
That's
right.
True.
So it's even the wrong thinking. Right? You're trying to drive fans to the thing. You're trying to drive money into the sport. There's no industry around the sport. I've said this a million times. Where's the volleyball industry?
Right.
Why don't you have sunglasses, sunscreen, clothing? Saying. I mean, you have it naturally because nobody. Well, again, you have bad people running it. Or have been in the past. I'm not saying, I don't want to name any names, but I don't know anything about the current people. But yeah, okay.
Yeah,
it's not, again, like it's. Everybody's got an idea. Everybody argues with it. Everybody ready. You got to put on a tournament. All right. You got to put the best guys got to show up.
But it's expensive to put on tournaments, and that's why
it's not. No, it's not to get a string. Okay, that's my point. Ready? Real estate, location, events, free venue. All right. That's the problem is they're too expensive to run. That's why they're failing. It costs us $300,000 to put on a beach volleyball tournament, including prize money of 150. Right, the tournaments now cost $1 million. Why? You need that big stadium. You don't need anything. Look at a cover of our book. Okay, there's more people on this book cover in the 70s. It doesn't cost anything. This is a zero cost event. You start at no cost. Why? Well, Manhattan Beach won't let them advertise. They won't let them sell tickets. So they have to create this thing to have the VIP area to try to sell that, to try to get some revenue. Like every decision drives from that it's being incorrectly put together.
Well, I also think, with the whole VIP area, right now you can't drink on the beach legally in California. Right. So alcohol,
in my club, but yeah, you're right.
I go back to alcohol because every other sport you just mentioned, you can go and enjoy an adult beverage while you watch the game. Every other sport you just mentioned.
You got some challenges. You got some challenges because you're on public property.
Right. So
that's why they want to go to Atlanta in the middle of the summer in the heat so they can sell beer and nobody goes because nobody wants to go to a beach volleyball tournament. Look, Manhattan's got a lot going for it, right? It's a beach town. Everyone likes volleyball there. It's a fun place to visit. It's a vacation destination, all right? Or you want to go sit in some, anyway.
Yeah, I know we can go on and on about it, but just
they're doing it wrong. It's so, again, just get 150, 200,000 in prize money from a tournament is be nothing. All right, my partner Tracy's saying does it for a living. She puts on events, all right, for Los Angeles Magazine forever. And she does better than the AVP.
Okay, just a couple things about this. Bally's, do you think they should gamify it? You think they should allow betting?
You want to talk handle and drop? What's the handle and drop going to be? All right.
What's your point?
What's your point? Like Bally's is not in the business of giving beach volleyball players money. They're in the business of taking money.
Right, revenue. But I'm saying revenue. That would be an exchange of something.
All right, ready? Anytime you hear something about the future that's never been in the past, ignore it.
Okay.
Okay, ignore it. That's volleyball. In 1990, Ken, trust me, we're gonna do. They right? Guess what? Who knows? It's not tested. If it comes in, fine. Guess what? Why don't you do it the way we did it, which was successful, which would be successful now. Then if you want to gamify, first of all, is that who you want as your fans, as gamblers?
I know that's the challenge. That's challenging.
Okay, you don't need them. All right, you don't need them, but fine, go gamble. All right, here we go. 10 pulls. This is why I was the winningest player of all time. You hit it where they ain't. Okay, what is your goal? All right, your goal is to put on beach volleyball tournaments. All right, I don't. Right, when I started playing volleyball, I didn't care if anybody watched me, which happened, or nobody watched me, or a billion people watched me, which was in the Olympics. Okay, millions of people watched me on NBC. Hundreds of thousands came to watch me. I didn't care if 0 people came or a billion people came. I didn't care if you paid me 0 or you paid me the millions of dollars that you did. I was going to play anyway because I was the biggest, baddest, badass beach volleyball player on the planet, and I wanted to prove it to everybody else, including you, all you out there, Sinjin Randy. Right? I wanted to be the #1 beach volleyball player. Okay. And Randy and Sinjin said, you're not going to be the #1 beach volleyball player, kid. We are. Right. That's why these people are sitting there watching. They're watching champions and heroes going at each other. Right. Now, if there's money to be made, trust me, I'm Kent Steffes. I went to business school and I have economics. I'm going to take if there's money out there, I'm going to get my share. Trust me. But that's not why I play. What is your goal? Right. You put on beach volleyball tournaments. You have these athletes compete against each other and people will come. Then you worry about how to monetize it. Mm-hmm. Simple. Okay. What is your goal? All right. God, these Elite 16 is a terrible idea.
Yeah, you think so?
FIVB. No. It's horrible. Like it's because they don't. Why? Because they're a for-profit entity. He's got to make money. The moment you start thinking about making money, you lose. My Triborn said it on the Sandcast. It was hilarious. He goes, so the nonprofits make a ton of money and the for-profits lose money. Yeah. That's the way it works, Tri. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. The moment you start thinking about money, now you have to have a VIP section and a stadium. And now it's too big and you didn't get the thing and the sponsors. Right. Just, the most important thing is the game, is the term. Like FIVB, your one job. AVP's tough because they're now in the amateur ranks, but there's nobody in America whose job it is to put on tournaments with the best Americans. FIVB, your sole job is not to make money. It's to put on beach volleyball tournaments, to grow the game. All right. To assemble the world's best in certain places and have them beat each other to death to see who's the best. Okay. That's what it's not about excitement. All right. It's about athletes competing to see who's the best. It's flow states. Nobody even gives a crap about this. You go to business school, nobody believes you, like whatever. Flow states, right? The fans enter the flow states that the athletes do. Okay. They don't care about excitement. They don't care about they want to watch. They're sitting there just like Tiger Woods on the thing. They're thinking like he's thinking. That's what we know from the brain studies. The only other place you do that is concerts, right? So everyone jumps up and down during the sporting event. They're being affected. All right. That's if you don't have, all right, who in America is assembling all the best Americans and pounding out to see who's the best ones? There's no, right? I get 10 different groups around the country to put on tournaments tomorrow. Okay. I've talked to them. They've already said they would. They'll assemble people. They'll get the they'll get the courts. They'll get the city approval. They'll get the permits. They'll get the money. They'll get the prize money.
Well, okay? Maybe that's the idea. Maybe the AVP should like create affiliates all around the country that do that. And
that's not the business model. That's not what they're in the business to do.
And okay, I was just saying,
to the players, when you talk to the players all want to own it. All right. That's what happened in the 90s. That's what happened in the 2000s when it fell apart. Players thought they should own it. Well, nobody's going to help you. You need guys. You need help. You need people. Right, the 10 groups I said they'll put on tournaments are going to do it because they want to. They're going to be interesting. They're not going to do it because to get you rich. Like if it's a for-profit company, you're just going to do it. That's not how it works, right? The Tournament of Roses parade, all those volunteers. What if I owned it? If Donald's son owned the Rose Parade, all those thousands of people would be working for free? No. Okay, the city of Pasadena would let you like go up and down the city? No.
All right. So the question, and then I want to move on to your book in a second. But question: if let's assume there's good people at the AVP, they're listening to you right now, and you have one piece of advice for them, if you are assuming that they want to expand and grow the sport.
I got no advice for the AVP. The only advice I have is for the players.
Okay.
Go and start a tour where you guys meet up every once in a while and beat the crap out of that little white pill. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You guys get together, all you players, you guys say, we're going to meet here on this and this date. And we're going to smash it around to tell who's the best.
All right.
Trust me. All right. These people are going to start showing up. And when these people show up, the money comes. That's what the sponsors, the TV comes too. The money comes in. You can sell. They want to buy a T-shirt. They want to buy a memory of the place. Right? They want to buy some shorts. They want to buy whatever it is you're selling. They want to buy a book or whatever it is you're selling.
Yeah. Well, I hope the AVP does well. Because like I said, I'm a fan. And
they are doing well. They're doing great.
They're doing great.
Have you seen their grass tour schedule?
I actually haven't.
Have you seen their membership roster schedule?
I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah, well, you got to be a member.
You got to be a member.
They're doing great. AVP, by the way, good business model. Those guys are good. They're smart, right? They're doing great. What we were talking about was the professional beach volleyball tour.
I do want that to do well too.
Yeah,
I want that to do well.
Yeah. It's that part. It's this big pyramid. It's this one you want here, right?
Well, because
the amateur, not the youth, not the old people, right?
Right, exactly. But you mentioned Tri-Born. I just had him on the show last week. He just won Manhattan. He just won Chicago. I want him to do well. I want him to thrive. I want him to consider himself a thriving professional athlete who gets paid a lot of money. Like that, I want that for him.
I was on a show. I showed him what to do. We'll see if he does it.
All right.
He's got the business model. He's got the plan.
Let's go.
Call me.
Let's
Tri-Born, Travis, just call me.
Yeah.
They won't.
All right. Hey,
let's move on. Yeah.
Kent, you wrote a book. I know we've been kind of talking about it throughout this whole podcast, but let's end the ship on this book. It's a great book. Talk about your writing process briefly. Talk about this idea of actually, you know what I'd like you to talk about? As an athlete, now you have something in your hand. You actually have a product now. And for me, that's really cool. I'm about to release mine. But talk about yours and how that feels as an athlete to have a product in your hand and talk and say anything else about it, because it's an awesome book.
Well, first of all, it's really great to be a published author. It's really fun. I never thought
Yeah.
I'd do that in my life. I love collecting things that I do. You want to talk about being inspired? I
Yeah.
always try to find something new to
Right.
work on. So if it was back in the day when I did woodworking, I learned how to be a
Right.
woodworker. This was a book. And so, see, here's the problem: is when you're an athlete, when you're young, you don't know necessarily how to articulate and communicate what it is you're thinking, feeling, and processing. All right. So everyone wants to hear from athletes, but they don't know different, like, from what they are. It takes a little while, reflection, time. I had to study other stuff, read other things in order to understand what I was doing. I wouldn't have been able to write the book when I was 25 and #1 in the world, because I didn't have the,
Sure.
I wasn't able to step back from it and see it and sort of like, oh, I was doing different things than other people were.
Sure.
Right. So that's one of the best part is this is yeah, I was really able to understand my experience, what I went through, and then when we talked to other people, we really got their perspectives too. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not a lot of books written about volleyball and beach volleyball, and the articles all blow because they just, right, you're either puff piece or a hit piece. They're all BS. They all just make stuff up about.
Except for Travis's work. Travis
is good though. It's funny. Well, we had a good trust, and I like him because he's very positive, and he likes to celebrate it. Dude, Volleyball Magazine, where's Don and Don Patterson? If you listen to Don Patterson, what was your problem? You just wanted to like bash us all the time, which is fine. Right? Bash me, Don Patterson, if that's what you think is going to be interesting your readers at Volleyball Magazine or Volleyball Monthly back in the day. But does anybody want to know what really happened? Or does everybody want to know what we were thinking, feeling, experiencing? Then the books are that kind of way to do it. Like you can explore the thing. I mean, there was a lot of stuff in there that, all right. So Travis came to me with the book in its really early form. And we mentioned earlier about how I'm writing Facebook posts, and he asked me if he could use some of that stuff. And I said, sure, I don't care. But then he interviewed me, and I said, look, like, or actually Sinjin said that, like, you want the book to be as it is, you want it to be right. Like, all right, that's it. There's a couple stories in there that told about me. I said, well, they're great stories. Feel free to put them in. They're not right. They're not true. It didn't happen. All right. So go ahead. And he was like, oh, actually, I do want to kind of get to the truth. And I said, well, there's no such thing. There's only perspectives. So either you're going to give and this is what's great about the book. We give everybody's perspective. All right. Everybody's different. Everybody sees things differently. Okay. I just told you what to do with the AVP. No one listens to me. Nobody's going to do it. Fine. I'm 54. I've been through it 3 times, whatever, how many times. Good for you. I don't play anymore. But everyone's got a different perspective. But it's informed by who they are, because everyone's a unique and individual. When I talk about that winning switch, it's unique to every sport, and it's unique to every individual because you are unique. Right. So so we put those perspectives in, and now the reader can look. Well, Travis says the reader can decide. I say the reader can see that people have different perspectives, and they look at the same event in a different way. All right. And that's cool to me. At least I thought it was cool. And that's what I sort of insisted on with Travis in the book. Again, never let the truth get in the way of a good story if it's a good story. But make sure you put someone else in who says it didn't happen.
I think it's really cool. And like I told you before, the imagery is great. And you just take the reader on a little journey, and it's really cool. So I'll leave a link to it. Tell people where they can go get this book.
Amazon.com. Barnes and Noble, Borders, your local bookstore, the Coffee Beans, college, universities, bookstores. There's no bookstores anymore.
There's some left.
Does anybody read books? Look at you. Look behind him, everybody. My books are over here. Like I used to have like storage units full of books.
You know what's cool about
books? We're the only ones who read books.
No, I was actually telling my roommate this yesterday. You know what's cool about books? I actually think they're making a comeback because, first of all, we're all so in our phones right now so much, and it actually hurts our eyes. Like my eyes are like, geez. So when I read a book, it's actually refreshing because I don't like the images of Instagram and all that stuff aren't telling my brain what to look at. I get to create a picture in my head. And I think there's a value to that. And I think that's making a comeback right now.
I hope so. Yeah, I love to read too. Right. I
Yeah.
actually had to stop myself buying books. I only go to the library because it was getting overwhelming. I was getting too
Yeah.
many.
Well,
Yeah.
everyone listening, go buy this book. It's really cool. It's a class. I think it's an instant classic. So thank you for writing the book, and thank you, Travis, for co-writing it. And Kent, this was awesome, man. Before we end,
Anytime. Yeah, I talk volley all day. Nobody listens to me anyway. Everyone's
No,
going
this
to
is great.
disagree with you. Hit it where they ain't. Winning switch. Flip the switch. Win. The goal's a win. Hit it where there you go. So,
last thing, Kent, fulfillment. What does fulfillment mean to you?
being fulfilled. I think, all right, God, what did I read? What was that Zen thing? I'm kind of Zen-ish in yoga. You'd be surprised.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
I really like this sort of philosophies where they say it's your wants over your desires. Okay, so to the extent that you don't want anything in life, you're going to be really happy. Happiness either equals wants or desires, wants over desires, something like that, or wants over what you get. You got to think about that. So to the extent that
maybe wants over outcomes or something like that.
I think it's wants over. It's like want. I should say. This is want. So if you want a lot of stuff, and this is satisfactions, right? Right. You want to shrink this. Because this doesn't matter. So like the only way you can be infinitely happy is the Zen thing. Not want anything. Start lowering your expectations. Just like every day I get up, I love when it rains. Isn't that great? It's raining. Cleans, it just cleans out the city, right? Isn't that? I always have this image of like, oh, great. Now we're clean. The streets are clean. People are like, oh, it rains. It's like so. It's that mentality. How to be fulfilled? Just get your wants down, or that very, very live simply, right? Live simply. Live joyous. Live abundance. God, you're alive. First of all, we live in the greatest country on the planet, and we're living in a great city, Los Angeles, and there's plenty of food, and there's no danger really. It's great. I mean, it's a good time to be alive. With the internet, you have unlimited amounts of entertainment. Too much entertainment, you won't get anything done. It's a nice place to be alive. A nice time to be here. All right, enjoy. Go out and enjoy. There's a lot of things to do, a lot of things to learn, a lot of things to enjoy. A lot of people to me, people are, go call some friends and go hang out if you're feeling down or something. Call me, send me an email. We'll do videos together. Cancun.
I love it, man. I love it. And you know what, Kent? Yeah. I love the passion that you have for sharing your knowledge right now. I know you're doing the book tour, but what comes out from your energy is just this. You just want to share stuff, and to anyone who wants to listen, and I think that's cool, man. I think that's really cool because you have so much to offer, obviously as a champion, but the winning mindset stuff, but just even what you just said right there about fulfillment, that's awesome. Coming from a champion, an Olympic gold medalist, that's just really refreshing to hear, and so I appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah. Again, just the way I am, the book helps. Book helped to center the situation. So I do too many things. By the way, I got a lot of interest. I got a lot of likes. I talk about simplicity, but I got to weigh myself back because I like to do things. I like to do it. So yeah, like this helped me focus, writing, doing podcasts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To talk about, and so I've been thinking. I haven't thought about this stuff. Didn't think about it.
It's really cool, man.
So this helped me to get focus me.
Well, hey, I just want to thank you again for your time. We did a long one today, but this was gold.
Are we 2 hours? Are we almost 2 hours?
Yeah, man.
Holy moly!
But there's so
much. 40 minutes.
I know, but you know what? There's so much gold in there, and I just like I said before, this is a full circle moment for me. I'm a huge fan of you as an athlete. And now I'm a huge fan of you as a person. And, I just wish you nothing but the best for the success of this book and in your personal life. And would love to have you on for a part 2 sometime.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right.
I don't know if I'm going to say much different, though. Hit it where they ain't. Flip the winning switch. The goal is to win, all right? It's a
That's
simple
funny.
game.
Simple game. Hey, for everyone listening, thank you so much for sticking with us and for being a fan of the show. Go buy Kent's book. Go buy Kings of
Thank you. Yeah,
Summer.
please.
You know, it's a great book. It's great to have in your collection. And once again, Kent, thank you. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. For everyone else, appreciate you. Peace and blessings. Stay inspired.